We call to order the Monday, November 10th meeting of the Conestoga Valley Board of School Directors. I'd like to welcome all of you that are here and those that will be joining us online. Will you please join me to the pledge to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We unfortunately this week are again facing the loss of students in the county. And unfortunately this time we have two. We want to remember Isaiah Scott, a 10-year-old from Manheim Central, and Paige Dallin, a 15-year-old from Peckway Valley. Will you please join me in a moment of silent meditation in their honor? Thank you. Mrs. Martin, may we have attendance, please?
We have 8 school directors present tonight. Mrs. Kapka is absent. We have a quorum in place.
Thank you. I'd also note that our board officers, Mrs. Martin, and Dr. Martin and Mrs. Huntsey are here, as well as the superintendent and administrative cabinet members. This is our work session, first of 2 monthly meetings at which we receive most of the informational presentations as well as discuss and deliberate future decisions. There are also some action voting items required on timely issues or to meet restrained deadlines. Our meetings observe all legal requirements, and agendas and related public documents are available on the district website. Could I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Are there any changes to the agendas, additions, deletions, or corrections? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? If not, we will move directly on to board comments. Does anyone have remarks to something that they attended?
I attended 2 webinars from PSMEA. The one on Friday, Marilyn was in on, and Diana Kapka. That was Kickstart, and it was about onboarding new members.
Any good suggestions from that?
I think so, and I left that notebook at home. I remembered everything else, including my bell.
You can call me if there's something we should be doing.
Right.
Okay.
And then today, there was a webinar on reorganization, and that was good. I was very impressed. There were 144 participants.
Wow.
In it, and a lot of questions at the end. The one thing I didn't realize, and it doesn't make sense to me, and I'd like to ask them again, for the reorganization meeting, they said that we should be inviting the outgoing members because they're still members until the new ones are sworn in. But
that's always a question. There are some that say as of December 1st they are not, especially when it runs to the 7th.
Right.
I don't think that's actually necessary because we will have a quorum anyhow.
Right.
Unless they're dying to be here.
Yeah.
They don't look excited.
Right. But Diana and I cannot vote.
Yes.
For the temporary chairman, although we're still members.
No, you're not. Well, they're saying 2 different things. Technically, you're
right.
not a member, or your term doesn't start till you take the new oath. So
right.
we always cut it off at that meeting.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Don't
so
make
we
this
can't
more
vote
complicated.
for the temporary chairman, but we can vote after we're sworn in. The other thing was a joint open committee they were talking about, and I think, is that a committee within the school board?
Open committee.
Yes. I think that's what it was called.
No, the Joint Operating Committee,
Yes.
JOC.
That's, some districts don't have, in addition to a board, have a joint operating committee, like the IU has that, and I think the CTC, because we are not allowed to buy property, and they handle the financing for property purchases.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know what
Yeah,
that was.
we have one here, and it has to be someone who's not a board member. And Mr. Maines, who is a past member, always serves on that for us. Oh, okay, anything else?
No, but it was, yeah, everybody seemed to be interested.
Yeah, those are always important meetings, okay. I will note that in the past, some of you attended our bonfire for homecoming, or the vendor craft fair this weekend, which was huge this year, and college night. And of course, we had elections, and up until then, everything was, I think, very well attended, with the exception of candidate night, which hopefully will have given some experience in something like that. Superintendent's comment.
I attended.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I
gotta
attended
catch
the.
They
I
told me
attended the
had
fall.
to- They told me I had to rush.
I attended the fall concert, so I'll pass this around. Band, orchestra, and chorus did a great job. This was a couple weeks ago at the high school.
At the high school concert, yeah.
And also on Friday, I was at BizTown, JA BizTown, with Smoketown 5th grade, and was just very impressed with the kids, just, working together. They were all well prepared for their roles and did a great job. It was really cool to be a part of it. So,
Were you involved in any of the interviews?
no,
Okay.
just there for the day, so it was good.
Anything else?
I have one too, just real quick. I just wanted to congratulate the CV High School football team on a great season. That was a hard-fought game on Friday night against Exeter, and they fought till the very end. Sometimes things don't come out the way you want to, but they played like heroes. It was an awesome game. Right up to the very last second, it was an awesome game. So kudos to those guys for an awesome season.
Yeah, we've had, 2 good years in a row now, so hopefully we're looking forward to more of the same. Anything else? Okay, Dr. Hartman, it's finally yours.
Okay, well, you guys stole a lot of my thunder, so I take it easy tonight. I was going to share a lot of similar items with the board this evening, but yes, certainly all of our fall sports teams, we had a really successful fall. So football, capped it off this Friday. It would have been a little nicer if the outcome was different, but it was a great game for sure. So want to congratulate Diana and Kathy for their reelection. We talked about reorganization a little bit earlier, but certainly congratulations to them and to our 2 new board members who will be coming on, Phil Benigno and Laura Givler. Excited about having them join us, but certainly sad to see Mike and Phil leave us, but we'll find a way to bring them back into the fold somehow one day, so I'm sure. Just wanted to update, I know my time is limited. I've already been told there might be a football game later tonight that some people are interested in watching. So I'll try to be brief, but did send out a fall communication to all of our parents and community today. Just a quarterly update with some updates on some district happenings, just some bullet points on where we're at with the Leola project and with budget and some other items. Did want to mention, though, in a little bit more detail, that we did initiate a non-essential spending freeze as a district as of about a week and a half ago. This is due to the state and federal budget impasses that we're currently experiencing. Certainly when that happens, there's a trickle-down effect, and at the time we're not getting our cash flow from the state that we normally would. So we're really having to pick and choose what we use our locally generated revenue for. If some of those programs that are typically state or federally funded, we're subsidizing with taxpayer local revenue at the time being. So until all this is sorted out, we're in good position as a district financially, but we want to maintain that. We want to maintain prudent stewardship of our taxpayer money. So we're just tightening the belt a little bit and looking at what non-essential expenditures we can put a pause on for the time being. So if anybody hears anything about that, it's not because we don't have cash flow, but we want to be able to maintain that healthy cash flow management. So for the time being, we are on a little bit of a spending freeze as a district. So that concludes my report.
One of the most important statements I found in that report from Dr. Hartman was a simple statement that said, this is an administrative directive. And I know that sometimes it's the sort of thing we have an interest in, but that is strictly a management decision. I also want to thank Mrs. Hunsinger, who I know had a good deal of input in that program. I do want to back up for just a minute. I almost forgot there was something I wanted to mention. Just because I was so impressed. I don't know if you saw this about the board member who has served for 64 years. I figured it out. He was 29 years old when he started, and he is now about to have his 93rd birthday and decided maybe he should retire. I found that more than a little bit impressive. Okay, other than that, we'll move on. This isn't a chance for the public to make any comments specific to the agenda. Is there anyone who would like to speak to the board? If not, we're going to move to action discussion items, and I'm going to take this a little slow because every time I check the agenda, it changed. So I'll try to keep this in. Our first one, I think, is, Dr. Kozer and Dr. Mann on Phase 2 course. Are you asking for approval of this? Okay.
Yeah, well, good evening, everyone. As you recall, last month we presented to you a number of courses which you have up there, and that you are reviewing them over the past couple weeks. Dr. Hartman said that there weren't any questions, so we're here tonight for approval. Have them.
You're right. There were a lot.
Yeah.
Most of that is just updating and modernizing and bringing them up to speed.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions on any of those? Because if
The ones that have been now, the modern.
Yeah.
Modern learning.
Thank you.
There you go.
The CV learner.
Yeah, the modern
Right.
learning thing, so.
Profile of a CV learner.
To fix that,
Correct.
right, because this is all part of that batch cycle.
Right.
I'm more saying that to remind myself that that's why we're
Yep.
doing this.
You got it.
Okay, in that case, we will take a vote now if I
Can I
could
make
have.
a quick comment?
Oh, I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Thank you. A lot of good work, a tremendous amount of work. My brain was, and I increased my vocabulary, and I now have more books on my list that I must read. And I also think that we should let some adults audit the classes. It's like, I don't remember any of this.
You know, that,
Thank you.
you say that maybe with tongue in cheek, but that is something to sometimes consider. There are schools that allow parents to audit classes, and I don't know if we've
Well, I
ever.
saw in the policy, parents are allowed one class per month,
Oh.
but.
Yeah, we
but-
can't make them full-time students.
But it would be, it
Course, we'd
would
have
be
to give them a
neat
diploma.
if we could audit these classes, if we were.
That is something to consider moving forward, if you're interested, if we can make it work.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will take a motion to approve the Phase 2 courses.
Motion to approve Phase 2 courses.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Or any nays or abstentions? If not,
Thank you.
move ahead. Thank you so much. Mrs. Hunsinger. The RACP Redevelopment Assistance Capital Program, that is a mouthful.
Yes, and as you know, in education, we always have to have acronyms. So you can refer to it as RCAP or RACP Grant Program, the Redevelopment Assistance Construction Program. I've mentioned it a couple of times over the last several months, off and on, that we were looking into some grant opportunities to help offset some of our construction costs. And it's looking like the timing of this grant opening and the Fritz Elementary renovation project are starting to come together and align very nicely. So this RACP grant program is very complex. It's highly competitive. Their school districts obviously can receive some of the grant funds garden buildings onto the back of the building. Some of those costs may also very well qualify. One caveat with this grant too is that it's like we have to pay 50% of the cost of the projects, the pieces of the project that they award. That's not a problem. We're going to pay for it anyway. It's not like some of these other grant funds. I guess I'm trying to talk fast, I am.
I'm listening.
I know you are.
Take your,
I want to get home to see it too. So.
no, take your time. I enjoy this.
But we're going to do the renovation project anyway, so it's just kind of working out perfectly. So this is where it starts to get a little complicated. The grant is going to open at some point after the state budget is passed. Typically, that grant opening usually falls around August, September. So we're getting ready to go out for bid. January 5th is the bid date for the Fritz renovation project. And there are, again, this is very complicated and concise, that there are some very specific, like 20 pages worth of compliance documentation that must be included in the bid documents. So we're right at the right time to be able to move forward with this, insert those compliance documents, ensure that all of the bidders are aware of these compliance requirements, and then so then we've kind of met our very first phase of this, and that's the application process, the bidding process and the application process. Two companies were highly recommended to me, and I could work with either of them. They both seem to be extremely, very, very well versed in all of this, and very, very helpful. One firm goes by the name of GSL. They are affiliated with Stevens and Lee law firm. We've used that law firm at times for certain like special education situations. They have a price. The two companies have different pricing structure, and this is where we kind of have to maneuver our way through and find out what pricing structure we are almost comfortable with, because they each have their good points and some areas that we want to watch that we don't fall into a trap. So GSL, they will provide us with assistance from the very beginning part of this process. I call it phase one, where we have all the compliance documents for the bids. When the window opens up for this grant funding opportunity, they will go through the application process. They will provide all of the letters of recommendations that we need, so they'll take care of all of that for us. Phase two is then the lobbying portion, where in this case GSL would go and be contacting our state senator, other representatives, saying, hey, work with Conestoga Valley. We're very fortunate that Senator Scott Martin is on the Appropriations Committee. He was out to visit with Dr. Hartman and myself back in August and just discuss, on it. I think you've met with him every year, Dr. Hartman. So we already have that established relationship. So that might help us to be able to have some monies, again, it's very competitive, have some monies pushed our way for this renovation project. Then there's the third phase. After the grant award has occurred, then we have to go and submit all these documents to the Commonwealth. They review them for compliance. If we spend X number of dollars at that point on electrical or plumbing, then we give a 50% reimbursed on their approved costs. So with GSL, that's their fee is 15% of the total grant award. Saxton Stump, who is our solicitor for the district, they have another division called Saxton Stump Consultants. They work with also another company called Econ Partners, Econ Consultants. So Econ Partners are they handle more what I call the phase one and phase three of the grant, all the compliance requirements. They would work with us too, ensuring that all of our bids have the compliance documents included in them. They would then hand it over to Saxton Stump. Those lobbyists would then go again up to Harrisburg, trying to obtain funding for us through this grant program. And then Econ Partners comes back in phase three, submitting all their documents to the Commonwealth in order for us to receive our reimbursement. They have hourly rates listed here. So here are the caveats, the areas we really have to find again, I could work with either group, but GSL is 15% of the total grant award. So if we receive the grant award, they get 15%. We cut them a check immediately within 10 days of grant award. And then that's it. They continue with all phases of the rest of the grant to ensure that we receive our funds. If something were to go awry, if some of our grant documents at the end in phase 3 you're finding out weren't compliant, we don't get a refund off that original grant award. Saxton Stump and Econ, on the other hand, we're paying them those fees that are mentioned there, and that's whether or not we get any grant awards. So on one hand, we're putting money out. Probably, I don't want to eat my words here on this, but I can't foresee a situation as long as they've done their job that we are not compliant and wouldn't receive our funds. Whereas with Saxton Stump, we are paying money before we even know if we're getting a grant award. And that can add up. Their original proposal is for Saxton Stump, 12-month agreement at $4,000 a month. So that's $48,000 right there. We can continue to extend that agreement as necessary. And then Econ Compliance Company, again, they've got hourly rates, and it all depends on how much time it's going to take them. And it's hard for them to provide us with an estimate when they haven't even seen our documents or any of our bid specs. So, in speaking with Saxton Stump Consultants, I said, it's a difficult question to ask you, but I've got to ask. Looking at a project that's going to be about $23 to $25 million, renovation project for a building that's been touched 20 years ago, but not all of it was renovated at that time. They said it, and no guarantees on any of this. They said that similar projects that size, they've been able to receive about $3 to $5 million. So that's a nice chunk of change, obviously, but 15% on that fee goes up. But we don't also know what exactly our hourly cost would be for the consultants for Saxton Stump. So I know that's a lot to absorb. It is a very complicated, complex grant program. What is your thoughts on this? What do you think about either fee structure?
The 15% on what they estimated is how much?
So if we were to get $3 million of a grant award, their fee, 15% is $450,000.
Okay.
Versus 48 grand.
Well, it's
48
grand for
plus.
12 months. I did, again, this is very, very difficult to estimate, but I'd say one estimate I came up with was about $150,000 to $200,000 for the other program. Now, here's the other caveat. That cost wouldn't change if you got $5 million.
Mm-hmm.
But for GSL, if we were awarded $5 million, then it's 50%. Yes, 50%, yes.
It seems to me there's no way of knowing which way would be best until after it's over. So maybe you have to look at which company you're just more comfortable with.
And I could work with either of them. I really could. If you're looking for a recommendation from me, before I would say what I was thinking, any other feedback on?
Have you talked to anyone who have used either one of these for this purpose?
So Christopher Peters, our architect, has worked with GSL on another project, not in this particular area. I did call into somebody last week that had received some of this RACP funding. I could not find out from that person. I didn't get a phone call back yet, but I don't know what company they list. I was just trying to Google search and find out who. What's difficult to really nail down with school districts is we have to partner with like an industrial development authority or with one of the municipalities. So I can go to the list of the awards for the last grant, and it just is listing the municipality. It's not showing you the exact school district. I did email business managers in Lancaster County a few months ago, and it did not appear that any of them have gone down this route of getting this funding. A lot of it too is just timing, how the stars align to be able to drop in. So when that grant window opens, it's only open for 30 days.
Do you know if GSL has like a long history experience in this?
Yes.
Or not?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
Okay, so my personal feeling is I would look at it, I think I would tend to go with GSL and look at it as, what's that, like, basically you're getting a 35% discount. So we have to match 50% or whatever, and the 15% tacked on. So whatever your grant is, it's a discount because we're paying for the project regardless either way.
Right.
I would rather not pay for the project and pay another $48,000 to $250,000 for nothing, just on top of it. If you go with that, you might end up using more of your grant on that, but it's, I don't want to say free money, but it's a discount. You're still
Yeah.
getting a discount off of the actual
Yeah.
project cost, correct?
Mhm.
You might not end up with as much money,
Correct.
but you're still money,
Yes.
and you're not going to be out any money.
Correct. It's kind of, that's, again, I could go either way with these. With the Saxon Stump Econ Partners setup, it's really kind of hard to put that money out and not get anything, especially when we're under a budget freeze.
Right.
There's risk.
Yeah, there's.
And we have no idea how
Risk-reward
strung out
situation.
this could be, how many hours. They did not give you an estimate.
As
It's,
hard as, no.
yeah, I think knowing exactly where you stand is a lot more comfortable.
I mean, go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
Oh, now I lost it.
So, I mean, it's dependent on the state budget and how much is funded
Right.
for this, right?
Correct, yes, yes,
And what part of that we would get
correct.
and everything.
We might get 750,000. I mean, we might get
Right.
5 million,
You might get 250 and then just pay it all in fees.
yeah. No, I know what I was gonna say, Bill. I know that you can't always trust Google searches to get the most accurate information, but I did do a Google search on lobbyists in Pennsylvania, and they had a list of like the top 50 lobbyists, and GSL was like number 13.
Who was number one? Do you need approval to go forward with this or to choose which one to use?
So I don't need approval at this point to move forward with applying for the grant, but I do need approval because I can't apply for the grant without one of these firms. So, and we could go for approval next week since this was like listed as
Okay.
an informational item. And we've got time again, the bids aren't going out until July,
Okay, then
January
we will,
5th. Thank you.
then we will put this on the consent agenda for next week.
For GSL?
Yes,
Yes.
unless someone has an objection to that. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you all very much.
High School Focus Club overnight retreat. Oh. You'll have to identify yourself for our board, please.
Hi there, my name is Erica Whitley, and I am a Conestoga High School teacher and also Focus Club advisor. I'm with Dr. Fox to request your approval for a Focus Club overnight retreat the weekend of January 23rd to 25th at the Young Life Lake Champion Retreat, New York, through PIYM organization. It's planning the event.
Any more detailed information anyone would like?
Is this the first retreat focuses planned?
This is the first retreat that we're going through the school district to go do it.
Okay.
We did go to this retreat for 10 years.
Oh.
But we did it through another organization that ran the retreat.
Okay.
They actually donated a school bus. It was the, gosh, what was the name of it?
Okay.
And they had provided the transportation to keep the cost down to the event. So we had done this event for 10 years with this group.
Okay.
Previously, but not through the school district.
Okay.
I'll just add to what Mrs. Whitley shared. In my time since I've been on been with the district, this is one of the more thorough proposals I've seen. And I thought, did a really nice job putting together with detail, and I felt it was bad. I think 2 or 3 times we went back to her asking for more information, and she'd have it like that. So, but just because we wanted to be sure on like some of the transportation things, and if there were students with medical needs and so on. So, from my perspective, from the administration's perspective, we felt it was a well put together proposal. I think she has all her I's dotted and T's crossed, and it's a very detailed plan. I think the students will be in good hands that weekend.
Any other questions on this? If not, I will take a motion to approve this trip.
Motion to approve the Focus Club's winter weekend retreat.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Enjoy your trip. Review proposal for purchase of classroom mosaic application. Dr. Kozer.
Okay. So first, this is a pre-approval pending the lifting of the spending freeze. So let me say that first. This would be considered a non-essential for this spring. But when we do get that budget in, we didn't want to have to wait another board cycle to get this in front of you and go through the discussion. So that's number one. We would not be pressing the purchase order button until we have the budget in hand. The second piece is looking at this app. A couple of weeks ago, we had started talking about our fidelity system for looking at those really 3 big initiatives under the CV instructional model, our PBIS initiative, our SEL initiative, and then our curriculum, standards-based curriculum initiative. And so we've been, over the last year, building our system of classroom learning walks, where we will be focusing on answering the question, to what extent are we seeing these key practices in our classrooms K-12? And so as part of that system, we wanted to have a tool where we can collect that data. And we intentionally are looking for a resource outside of the platforms that we have right now, because we want to be really clear with our teachers that this is a non-evaluative process. This is not in any way tied to their classroom observations, their educator effectiveness. And so we feel really strongly that we want to look at a platform that is completely separate from the PA ETAP platform, which is what we usually use to collect that classroom visit data. The proposal you're looking at is the maximum extent possible. Our actual usage will come in much lower than that for this first year. So we're looking at trying out our Learning Walk system 3 times this spring. So we're going to be prorating the price of this proposal based on when the budget comes in and when we actually implement the purchase. And then on top of it, we will not be in 300 classrooms. Again, it's going to depend on when the budget comes through and how many rooms we'll actually get to in those spring visits. So tonight, I really just wanted to share with you what the app is, the rationale behind it. Next week, when Dr. Mann and I share our data review and our curriculum items for our budget, we'll actually go into these learning walks in more depth, but I wanted to give you that preview tonight. I don't like asking for approvals on the same night that you see the proposal. So this is your preview, and then next week we'll tie it together in our data presentation around the instructional system, and then this would be on the consent agenda next week.
Okay, and the consent agenda, I will specify that the spending freeze must be left for this to go on.
Yep.
So you don't need anything for this evening. Are there any questions about the program?
Who is actually using this? Because I went in to read the testimonials, and they were all principals and assistant principals?
So we're working with the developer of the app. We will be starting this year with our principals, our assistant principals, our directors, Dr. Hartman, Dr. Mann, Mrs. Schaefer, myself. We'll start with administrators. Next school year, when we go to a full launch, we would like to have our reading specialists, our math specialists, our PBIS building coaches, and they are classroom teacher level team members looking at how these practices are being implemented. And so we're working with the developer right now on setting up those accounts so that they have the right access from a teacher level to the people that the rooms that they're in, not necessarily everybody in the whole system.
And you said that this is different from the classroom evaluation.
Yes, it's a different system. They're connected we all use Charlotte Danielson, the Danielson framework, as our main guide for effective instruction. So there's alignment there, but we wanted to clearly have a separate place where we're going in and collecting data that doesn't in any way overlap with where we put teacher evaluation information and data. So two separate systems.
That doesn't compute with me yet.
So if you think about the medical field, when they do what they call medical rounds, where they have teams of medical professionals in a hospital going room to room, sometimes collecting data. It's not for the purpose of evaluating that nurse or that doctor that's in that room with that patient at that time, but it's to look for overall organizational-wide trends and so on. It's kind of taking that model from the medical field and replicating it in education. Sometimes you hear what we're calling learning walks, you hear them referred to as instructional rounds or so on, where it's not about evaluating a teacher. We're collecting data to look for overall organizational trends to say, hey, for example, we've invested a lot in, professional development on this particular instructional strategy, but we're only seeing it implemented in 20% of classrooms. So that can lead to conversations that we're having as a leadership team about why maybe we're seeing something occur more frequently, maybe in one location versus another. So when we're saying that's why it's falls under the realm of supervision and evaluation of programs, but the purpose of this isn't to evaluate an individual teacher, if that makes sort of more sense.
Thank you.
So then I guess the question I would have would be, for us to monitor the effectiveness of that, how would that look like for you to report back to us what's going on?
And that's a big push of why we wanted to have this information. The board has invested a lot of our ESSER money, a lot of our recent money in the development of our curriculum that we just approved, right? So this will give us a very specific metric then as part of our comprehensive plans. When you think about those big goal areas, the learner well-being, achievement, and belonging, those topics, this is measuring it. And so we will be able to come back to you a couple times a year and say, hey, this is where we started with our first learning walk set of data district-wide. Look at where we progressed then here and over a year, 2 years. So we will actually have a really clear observable tool that we can share that data out, not just to the board, but back to our staff and our faculty as well.
So this will be the consent agenda for next week?
Yes.
Any other questions before we move on? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jill.
I do have another, we're done with the action discussion items. Oh, no, we have one more to go, but I wanted to go back, if I could, with a sort of off-agenda question for Mrs. Hunsinger. I noticed that we had to remove the resolution for the index and the audit. Would they be coming next week or next month, or when will we see them?
Like December that they would be coming, the auditors.
Oh, okay.
There's more audit firm changes, so we're working through that with them.
I noticed last year we got our audit very late.
Yes, again, they had, in summer of 24, let me come up here.
Yes, please.
In the spring or summer of 2024, our auditors went a different route with they took their government municipality department, and they merged into a firm called Witham. And after about a year, and they were going through a lot of growing pains. That's why our finalized audit wasn't done until like March. Now, they presented in November, but they had to get through review. It was just, unfortunately, a lot of issues. And then Witham said to them, and this past spring, we're not going to support the governmental municipality school district audit department anymore. So they had to merge then with another company called LCA or CLA. And again, they're kind of going through some staffing challenges and getting everything all set up. So I did email them last week, hey, when are we going to have this? We need to have our financials soon. So, yes.
No,
hopefully
I'm
next
just
month.
concerned that we're not going to be waiting as long as we did last year.
We
We have had professional consultants reorganize, and sometimes it gets messy.
Yeah, it was very messy the last 2 years. It really was.
Yeah.
Now, the partner on the job and then the auditor he has signed is like the lead auditor. I really like working with them, have worked with the partner for many, many years. You were on the RFP committee with us back in 17. So I think they do a really good job, so I'm being patient with trying to get their feet under themselves right now.
Okay, I was just concerned. I thought this was as good a time as any to ask.
Yes.
Okay.
And then as far as the resolution not to go above the index, we have until January to get that approved.
Oh,
I just
okay.
wanted to wait until we have a state budget, so.
Yes, I understand. So that will be put off until the budget comes
Yes,
through.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and our last item under action discussion is review administrative policies. Dr. Hartman, did you want to address any of those?
Just briefly, I'll mention there's 11 policies for your review. They will be on the action discussion agenda next week as a first reading. Julie and Diana and I met last week to review these with some other members of our leadership team. These all came out of PSBA recommended what they call their PNN updates. So these are not new policies. But now that we're through our comprehensive policy review cycle, we're sort of phasing into more policy maintenance. And so we're keeping track of whenever PSBA comes out with a recommended update, whether it's formatting or just a language change. There weren't any what we thought were overly significant changes to these policies, just some changes in wording and language. So we reviewed them last week and we're comfortable bringing them forward for the full board. So we can discuss in more detail if you have any questions after you've had a chance to review them.
As I understand it, the committee also reviewed the triple because that was on the schedule.
There were previously some triple O's earlier in the fall, earlier in the school year that were reviewed, yeah.
Yeah, here is where my concern is. According to policy, we review all policies every 5 years. To me, that means even if we make no changes, our committee reviews it on our behalf and recommends no changes. Nonetheless, I think it requires a vote, even though it's one vote for the entire group of 000, so that we can date stamp our policy. So if we make no changes, we don't go back to it 10 years from now, and it looks like we've never reviewed it. It's a simple matter of taking a vote, verifying that we reviewed L. It seems to me that's the safest way to move forward. Any other questions or concerns on these policies? If not, you can ask questions again next week. That moves us on to our more closing issues. The agenda for November 17th is posted for your review. And this is a chance again for anyone in the public who would like to address the board on any issue. If not, we'll move up to board concerns or initiatives. I will mention opportunities for the board to attend, what's coming up, the fall play on the 13th, the Powder Puff Derby on the 19th, Seeds and our student services will be viewing MTSS for the public. Winter concerts for the other schools will be coming up. The school store is now open. And I also have a resolution for the budget impasse. We talked about a board goal of being a little more interested in advocacy. You have attached here that resolution the PSBA has recommended. So I thought possibly, to align with what we said was our interest in doing more advocacy, this was certainly a simple way to start. Do you have any input on our passing this? If not, we can pass this resolution this evening. Any concerns with the resolution? Any willingness to make a motion to approve the resolution for the budget impasse?
I move to approve the resolution.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? If not, thank you. I think this is a good first step for us to be doing advocacy. It certainly is an easy way. I have on my here report from the Leadership Advisory. Are you prepared to address us?
I am.
Go
Thank
right
you.
ahead.
Thank you, Mrs. Groff. So first I want to just, thank Kathleen Trowbridge and Phil Hurst for being on the committee to recommend the next president and vice president. I underestimated the task. I will say that. If you had a job description of a school board president, you wouldn't have to write anything. You would just put a picture of Mrs. Groff in the spot, and that's what you would have from a full end-to-end. It's hard to replace the GOAT, I guess, the greatest of all time.
Thank you.
So
Thank you. That's
it
very
was,
kind.
usually it's a 15-minute conversation in the back room, and you get this done. But this was about a good month in the process to make sure that everyone was on board, everyone was in line, et cetera. So just want to let you know, a lot of due diligence through this process. So the nomination committee is going to recommend Mark Ginzel for president and Phil Eby for vice president. And that is our recommendation.
Thank you. And I, too, want to thank not just the three of you for the work you did, but everyone on this board who stepped up and made themselves available if needed. I think that says a lot for the quality of this board. We do not approve this report, but we accept it. Approving it would be voting for them. Accepting it just slates them for the reorganization meeting. So I need a motion to accept the report of the Leadership Advisory Group.
Motion to accept the report from the leadership.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? If not, that's one step forward. Thank you so much for all the time that you put in. I think moving forward with leadership on the board that has worked so hard to become as effective as it is really important, and I think we're all set. That much said, I will accept a motion to adjourn to executive session for a discipline issue, possible comments on current legal rulings outside of the county, and a construction issue. And you don't have to repeat all that.
Motion to move to executive session.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.